Most people think they know Cambodia. They picture Angkor Wat at sunrise, monks in orange robes, cheap beers on Pub Street, and a brief mention of the Khmer Rouge before moving on. Cambodia is often reduced to a postcard or a tragedy, depending on who is telling the story. But Cambodia is neither a museum nor a wound frozen in time. It is a living country, breathing, struggling, adapting, and quietly reinventing itself every single day. When you arrive in Cambodia, especially if you slow down enough to observe, you begin to notice something unusual. The people smile easily, but the smiles are not empty. They carry history. They carry loss. They carry resilience that does not announce itself loudly, but instead shows up in routine acts of survival. Opening a shop at dawn, sending children to school, cooking meals, laughing with neighbors, dreaming quietly. This documentary is not about temples. It is not about nightlife. It is not about cheap travel. It is about Cambodia as it is lived by Cambodians themselves. It is about memory, dignity, contradiction, and hope in a country that has every reason to collapse and yet refuses to. Part 1. History that never left. To understand Cambodia, you must understand that history here is not past tense, does not live in textbooks alone. It lives in family silences, in cautious conversations. In the way elders pause before answering questions about the 1970s, the Khmer Rouge period was not simply a chapter of violence. It was a rupture that erased families, professions, traditions, and trust. Many Cambodians lost parents, siblings, entire bloodlines. Doctors were killed, teachers were executed, artists disappeared, cities were emptied. Yet what often goes unnoticed is what came after. Cambodia did not have the luxury of collective therapy, truth commissions, or large-scale justice. People survived because survival was not optional. Today, you walk past someone selling fruit on the roadside, and you may never know that they were born in a labor camp, or that their parents never returned from the fields. The trauma is there, but it has been absorbed into daily life. Cambodians rarely dramatize their pain. They endure it, transform it, and move forward. This is not denial. It is adaptation. And it shapes the Cambodian mindset more than any political speech ever could. Part 2. Phnom Penh. Order in chaos. Phnom Penh feels chaotic at first glance. Motorbikes swarm intersections without traffic lights. Street vendors claim sidewalks, and construction cranes rise next to colonial buildings and Buddhist temples. But if you look closer, there is an invisible order at work. People know where they belong. Vendors respect each other's space. Drivers anticipate movement with uncanny accuracy. Neighborhoods function like extended families. You begin to realize that Cambodian cities are not disorganized. They are socially regulated, not bureaucratically controlled. The city reveals a contrast between old and new. Luxury SUVs glide past street sellers carrying entire livelihoods on wooden carts. High-rise apartments overlook informal settlements. Yet, despite inequality, you rarely feel hostility. There is frustration, yes. Fatigue, absolutely. But resentment rarely turns violent. Cambodia's social fabric is held together by something stronger than institutions. It is held together by shared memory and mutual dependence. Part 3. The streets as classrooms. If you want to learn Cambodia, do not go to a conference. Sit on the street. Sit with tuk-tuk drivers. Sit with food vendors. Sit with mechanics repairing bikes with tools older than the country's independence. These people understand economics better than most analysts. They know supply chains, inflation, tourism cycles, and political moods without using technical language. They feel change before statistics detect it. When tourism slows, they know immediately. When prices rise, they adapt instantly. Street wisdom in Cambodia is practical, unsentimental, and deeply human. People know that the system may not protect them, so they protect each other. Money is important, but relationships matter more. Reputation travels faster than social media. Trust is currency. Part 4. Food as memory and survival. Cambodian food is not loud, but it is precise. It balances sour, bitter, sweet, and fermented flavors with restraint. Every dish tells a story of survival. During years of scarcity, people learned to use everything available. Nothing was wasted. Techniques were passed down quietly, often by women whose names history never recorded. When you eat in Cambodia, especially at roadside stalls, you are eating history. Recipes survived genocide, displacement, and poverty. Food became a way to preserve identity when language, education, and institutions were destroyed. Eating together is not entertainment here. It is bonding. It is how families reconnect after long workdays. It is how communities rebuild trust. And when Cambodians invite you to eat with them, it is not hospitality as performance. It is hospitality as inclusion. Part 5. Faith without fanaticism. Cambodia is deeply spiritual, but rarely extreme. Buddhism shapes daily life quietly through rituals, moral expectations, and social harmony rather than dogma. Monks are not distant figures. They are part of the community. Temples are not only religious spaces, they are social centers. Faith in Cambodia does not deny suffering. It explains it, absorbs it, and places it within a larger cycle. This perspective helps people endure hardship without bitterness. Karma is not an excuse for injustice, but it offers a framework for patience. This spiritual calmness is one of Cambodia's most misunderstood strengths. It does not mean passivity. It means endurance without collapse. Part 6. Youth between worlds. Cambodian youth live between two realities. They inherit trauma they did not experience directly, and yet they dream boldly. They are ambitious, curious, and globally aware. Smartphones connect them to the world, but family expectations anchor them firmly at home. Many young Cambodians want to study, travel, start businesses, or work abroad. But unlike many societies, success here is rarely individualistic. Young people feel responsible for parents, siblings, and extended family. Freedom is negotiated, not assumed. This creates pressure, but also purpose. Cambodian youth are not reckless dreamers. They are strategic. They know opportunity is fragile, and they treat it carefully. Part 7. Tourism and the double edge. Tourism feeds Cambodia, but it also distorts it. Visitors arrive seeking authenticity, yet often consume performances designed for outsiders. There is nothing wrong with tourism, but it creates an economy where appearance sometimes matters more than substance. Still, many Cambodians navigate this intelligently. They use tourism to fund education, support families, and invest in the future. Behind every smile offered to tourists is calculation, effort, and survival. The danger is not tourism itself, but dependency without diversification. Cambodians know this, and increasingly, they are building alternatives. Part 8. Silence as a language. Cambodians speak softly, but silence communicates volumes. People choose words carefully. Conflict is often avoided publicly, resolved privately. This can frustrate outsiders who expect confrontation, but silence here is not weakness. It is risk management. In a country where speaking too loudly once meant death, caution became cultural intelligence. Even today, people remember. Silence is inherited. Understanding Cambodia means learning to listen beyond words. Part 9. Why Cambodia changes you. Cambodia forces reflection. It challenges Western assumptions about happiness, progress, and success. People here survive with far less, yet maintain dignity. They endure injustice without losing humanity. They rebuild without applause. Cambodia does not shout its lessons. It whispers them, and if you stay long enough, those whispers become impossible to ignore. Conclusion: the real Cambodia. Cambodia is not perfect. It struggles with corruption, inequality, and limited opportunity. But it possesses something rare: a collective will to endure without hatred, capacity to move forward without erasing memory. If you came here expecting paradise, you would be disappointed. If you came here expecting despair, you would be humbled. Cambodia exists somewhere deeper, where suffering and hope coexist, quietly, stubbornly, beautifully. And once you see it, you never quite see the world the same way again. There you have it. If this story changed how you see Cambodia, share it. If you've been to Cambodia, leave your experience in the comments. And if you want more documentaries that go beyond headlines and stereotypes, subscribe, not for entertainment, but for understanding.